If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Our next speaker is Manas Dewan, who has spent an entirety of 2 decades handling leadership positions with different titles in various organizations. Manas has worked for over 10 years with Mercedes-Benz India. He was pivotal in Merck's repositioning and comeback as a luxury car leader in India. His early career was in the media industry, where Manas worked as a journalist, photographer, and an ad man. Currently, he is the co-founder of brand Kiln. Please welcome Manas Dewan as he shares his insights on the metaverse potential, real business in the virtual world. Also, Manas is currently pursuing his PhD at Pune University in Metaverse and Didactics. We will have one of the Promise Foundation Fellows, Sarika Chavan, who is the Vice President at Weber Shandwick, to join Manas and drive a conversation after his keynote. Over to you, Manas.
Thank you so much, young lady. For a moment, I was wondering if you were talking about me or somebody else. That's very kind of you.
First of all, I must say, I'm really privileged and honored to follow Aparna and Sudeep on the stage here. Aparna, I can only think of her as a superwoman. I mean, she's literally done everything that each of us would dream about, right? A fabulous career, a person who's now a columnist, an author in her own right, and what's more, somebody who's overcome such tremendous challenges of life to stand before us and have the courage to share what she has been through and inspire each of us with her example. I mean, guys, how can I ever hope to better that, right? So I must say I'm under a bit of pressure, but nevertheless, let me carry forward. Metaverse. I was in fact wondering if this would be a great way to start, but yes, I mean, it has been going through its own roller coaster rides, correct? And I think each of us in this room are having this question, is this really a big deal? And what's it gonna do for me as a communications professional? And I'm hoping that in the next 20 minutes or so, I should be able to at least get you started thinking along those lines. But before I get going, a quick show of hands. Is there anyone in the room? Is there anyone in the room who has not heard of the term metaverse? That's until now. Anyone who has not heard of metaverse until now? No one, right? Next question. Anyone who's reasonably confident that they understand the metaverse can explain it well to folks around? Some hands for sure. Some are being shy. All right, so friends, we are all sailing in the same boat because research clearly tells us that while awareness of the metaverse is very strong, clarity about what it is, there's still a long way to go. And each of us are testimony to that. So what really is the metaverse? If you ask a techie, he will throw at you a bundle of jargons. He'll probably start with AI, ML, then go on to blockchain, crypto, and then he would perhaps talk about VR, AR, MR, XR, proof of concept, proof of stake, and it follows. But so what? How does it impact how we grasp it? And I try to understand the same because I'm not a techie. I'm just like you all. I'm a communicator. I'm a marketeer. At best, I can say I'm a strategist. So how do I understand the metaverse? I picked up two definitions which seem to be closer to my level of IQ. Let me put it up here. The first says that it's an immersive extension of our lives, enhanced by technology. Immersive, that's an interesting word. What's it? Immersive is an experience in first person. This is an immersive experience. We are seated next to each other. We see each other. We whisper to each other. We can talk to each other. We are in an immersive world right now. Our dreams are immersive. When we dream in first person. We really know that we are there in our dreams, right? That's the first person experience. That is immersive. So now, the understanding is that Metaverse is going to make digital an immersive experience, a first person experience for us. And the second one says, how is it going to lead? How is it going to journey forward? It says that today we have two distinct, separate worlds. There's the physical world and there's a digital world out there. Where does this digital world exist? It exists inside our screens. And if you think about it, that's precisely what it is. Things happen inside our screens. We are just onlookers. We are passive consumers of content, right? So if you think about it, and if you ask me, how do I think of the metaverse? I think of it this way. Today, we are on the internet. We are on Facebook, we are on Zoom, we are on social media, we are on a news site, we are watching things. The screen, we are on that. What's next? What could it do, the metaverse? It takes us in. So when the metaverse becomes a reality, we will be inside Netflix. Imagine standing next to Shah Rukh Khan, right? That would be fantastic. You would be inside a newsroom. You would be inside a war zone, experiencing everything firsthand. You would be inside that meeting room. No more sitting on a Zoom call, talking to the walls and furniture, looking at people who are also looking at us. We would be inside a meeting room. Imagine being in a space almost as real as this one. Imagine being in there. That is potentially what the metaverse can do for us. An immersive experience, a very first-person experience. So that's something that I liked when I read about it, when I heard about it, and I said, this makes me curious, want to go in a bit deeper. That's how the journey started. And then I realized, what could it do to us? What could this immersive experience mean for our lives? And I realized that something as simple as education. I'll give you an example. When I was growing up, I read about dinosaurs in a book. At best, one day my parents took me to a natural history museum. I remember seeing those big bones and wondering to myself, what kind of animal could it be that has got such a big bone? That's it. Dinosaurs were that for me. Our kids, younger generations today, had it better. They could watch, do you remember this movie? Jurassic Park? They could watch Jurassic Park. To them, dinosaurs were far more real than what it was to me as I was growing up, right? Now imagine, if you really had an opportunity to get inside there, stand next to a dinosaur, would it not change your perception? Would it not transform the way you see the world? That's the metaverse and what it can do for you. So, in a way, as communicators, what it's really going to do is transform the way we experience content, right? What it's going to do is, to use a communications parlance, it's going to transform the game from storytelling to story living. You will live stories. And this, in my opinion, is going to be the time when PR, public relations, can realize its true potential. Why do I say that? Think of the term, public relations. We are relating with the public, right? ask yourself, do we really relate with the public today? I don't know for sure. Because there's no way I can directly interact with my publics. I have to use intermediaries. Back in the olden days, when broadcast media was the only option for us, we used journalists, right? They carried our message to the public. Then digital came, and we had influencers, a step closer to the real publics. And they could actually give us back some feedback in a loop, which told us, how is it that the publics are actually receiving? Are they really seeing the way we are talking to them? I believe now for the first time, we have an opportunity to directly talk to the public. You will be able to reach audiences en masse, personalized one-to-one messaging without needing intermediaries. That's what Metaverse can do for us communicators. That's the way I see it. And now imagine the transformation that it's bringing about. We talked about education. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Healthcare, hospitality, retail. Imagine you don't have to battle 2 hours of traffic to reach some IKEA mall. You could literally just step inside there, walk the aisle, take a look at this, and then understand, is it going to serve what I have in mind? That's what it will do to all of us. So every single industry is transforming. That's what the Metaverse can deliver for us as potential. Now, we talked about storytelling versus story living. How will it be changing our world? As I see it, it will no longer be just, let's say, brand engagements, no more. It will be brand experientials. You will have to experience the brand. That means, first, we as communicators need to understand how do you create experiences that will convey the essence of what we stand for. That's what it's going to be doing for every single industry. We talked about customer experiences. It's going to be a journey. Why? Because every customer who comes in has a need that he wishes to fulfill, otherwise he would not be in there. Can you understand that need? Can you direct his journey? And can you help him achieve what he is here to achieve? That's the customer journey that will need to be created. And we, the communicators, are the people who will have to lead our organizations into this new era. That's where I see us fitting into the broader scheme of things. Product development, incredible changes. So at Mercedes, I was also looking after product management. And I want to give you an example. Nike. They have recently declared that Nike Digital, which is their pure digital wing, okay? There's no physical shoe which they're making into digital. It's a pure digital wing. This year, they've grossed 25% of their net revenues from Nike Digital. Pure digital things, not even existing in the physical world. What does that do to product management? I'll just tell you this. So until now, they have been on Roblox, which is a platform. Now, they have declared they'll be starting something called Dot Swoosh, okay? Dot Swoosh would be a platform where people like you and I, who are creators, can actually design a potential Nike shoe. I design it, I put it up, and people are buying it. Imagine what a brilliant opportunity for product managers. Why? Because now you are literally looking at crowdsourcing product management. You can then, as a product manager, see which are the products that are being picked up highest, how much are people paying for it, and then you can decide to assembly line manufacture it. Can you imagine the entire now situation turns on its head? Earlier, product managers used to be people who are sitting inside glass cabins trying to figure out what's that customer out there thinking, what does he need, and create something that hopefully satisfies that need. This is the reverse of it happening now. This is truly the way the world is changing around us. Brilliant things are happening, and it's all new. It's all uncharted territory. It's all about what can we do creatively to understand what's possible, as they call it, the technological affordances, right? How do we leverage the technological affordances to deliver new experiences, create new opportunities in this world which is coming up. That's what, in my opinion, the metaverse can do for us. In terms of employee branding, virtual reality trainings, work from home, these are all things that we are now, as corporates, struggling with. We have experienced something very interesting during the COVID times, right? We've seen, before I talk about what work happens, I want to show you how businesses today are transforming their way in the metaverse. It's called hyper reality. So typically you would see if you go into Roblox or platforms like that, it still looks a little cartoonish, And what we feel is that for businesses who are looking at serious customers, they want to have experiences in the digital world which could be as real as the physical world. Is that a fantasy? Not really. We have worked with it. And what I'm showing you as examples are use cases from our metaverse, which we are going to launch in a week's time. But these are examples for you to understand how hyper reality is changing the way brands and customers are interacting with each other. I hope the film plays.
With hyperreality, you can now get intimate with your fans and audiences. Take your fans right into your office, your brand museum, and your facility. Let them discover your world. Let them walk in your shoes. And let them experience your brand in first person. And when it comes to first-person experiences, nothing is more vital than launch of your product. After all, this is the moment that your customers, fans, media and your internal colleagues look forward to. What if your fans could see in first person how your new product looks? With hyperreal experiences, every single detail of your launch product can now come to life and can be experienced in first person. We can even go beyond, and with technical integrations, your best product manager can be there 24/7. Every single visitor can have a personal explanation about the features, the benefits, and the aesthetics of your product. Love what you see? Do you want to book it right now? Sure. We can enable payment integration with regular currency or crypto, all within your very own branded Metaverse home. This is the kind of superior customer experience that hyperreality can enable for your brand in the Metaverse. Why stop there? Why not invite them into your factory too? A virtual factory tour inside your Metaverse is an experience second to none. This is your opportunity. Show them how you care. Let them learn, have fun, and bond within your environment. And as you make them a part of your story, they too will return your love with their trust and loyalty. Hyperreality. An exciting start for your brand journey.
So, we've all experienced this, right? There's just a few slots available for any factory visit. There's just a few slots available for a launch happening abroad. How do we make sure that we take and select? That's a dilemma each of us face in our daily lives. Imagine this gets resolved. Not only journalists, your actual customers can also step into that world, experience it firsthand. Imagine Mercedes is launching a car in Germany. On the same day, same time, your customers sitting in here see it. If they like it, they book it. You can actually start sales even without having a single product in the country. And that's just an example. So, when we are talking about brand experiences being elevated to the next level, that's really what the Metaverse can do for us. We were talking about work. So, I was also mentioning that a few years, the last couple of years have been very challenging for all of us. And great news for the likes of Zoom. Why am I saying that? Is because you'll see in the first 4 months of the pandemic, Zoom subscriptions went up from 10 million to 200 million. Is that because Zoom became better? Nope. That's because we were forced into isolation. And we had to connect, collaborate, and work. Now imagine this, if you did not necessarily have to talk to the walls and your furniture, but you could actually get inside a collaboration space, a limitless space where you could put up all your videos, all your work, your slides, everything. You sit next to each other, just like here. You can enable something called as a whisper mode, which allows you to do side talk. That's a part of the experience, right? We are in a meeting, but we need to be able to not feel just constrained, This is really what the world is going towards. And what I'm trying to tell you is, this is not fiction. We have done this. And I want to show you what a real collaboration meeting in the metaverse can be like. And I also want to tell you this, that when we talked about the first slide, where we said the definition and what metaverse is leading towards, it's a reality where very soon the digital and the physical will overlap. Why do I say that? Simply, look at this example. Earlier this year, the world's first AR contact lenses were launched. It's a US-based company called Mojo Lens. You're gadget-free. Would it be very stretching our imagination to say that very soon you could actually then experience physical and virtual together in the same realm? That's not far away. If that happens, would you need a computer screen? No more. You could actually do your work. And that's the reason why when companies are struggling to bring back workers, yes, you do need people to switch on the lights and turn on the machines. But for a large number of people of the likes of us who are white collars, it's the collaboration that matters. What if you could do that in the metaverse? Could that be possible? Let me show you what we've reached till now. That's us talking about the collaborations that we have enabled.
What do you miss the most during Zoom meetings? Is it the side talk, sharing jokes and laughter, or the ability to project onto a big screen, or to ideate together in a shared space? Our huddle room combines the best of physical and virtual meetings, with various enhancements to make meetings lively and fun, even for remote working professionals. It's not just fun. You can do much more in metaverse meeting spaces. For detailed discussions and project briefs, our whiteboard and post-its are remarkable. Now you can efficiently showcase your ideas, color code your post-its, include images and briefing documents, and assign tasks to team members. You can also choose from a vast array of additional options to make your project planning seamless. Every moment of your workday can now be more productive in this immersive space. Our meeting and collaboration solutions have been successfully used for complex, multi-geography, remote management by professionals across the globe. For brainstorming, larger gatherings, or even virtual team buildings, take a look at the collaboration spaces. Here, you can set your preferred ambient music. You can showcase your video projects for everyone to see your creative side. What's more, you can even live stream your board meetings into the live feed wall. While it need not be all work, no play.
It's Monday, November 20th.
If you wish, you can together watch your favorite news channel on livecast, or even cheer your favorite soccer team, all within your own metaverse. Say goodbye to boring meetings. Say hello to metaverse collaboration.
So I wouldn't say that we are there yet. There's a long way to go. Technology is just starting. But even today, given the affordances, there's still a lot that can happen. And the way I see it, we, the people in this room, are the ones who will have to lead this change. We are the ones, the marketeers and the communicators. We are the ones who have our ears to the ground. And we are the ones who are actually required to take this message to our companies. And why do I say that? It's because the metaverse is indeed on its way. I told you that we were building our own B2B metaverse. Why did I think of that? Is because as we were talking to business leaders, we realized that you may explain many things, but finally seeing is believing. And so we said, let's create a B2B metaverse. It's not open for anybody to step in because we are not looking at raising money and gathering footfalls. It's to explain to people what can happen, what can we do today in the metaverse. And I would like to summarize it in 3 segments right at the top. Metaverse today can enable, number 1, great training and collaboration. We've seen an example of the meeting spaces. That's just one example. We've got several. You can do immense value-added customer experiences, which will actually drive your ROIs and bottom lines. And the third area is augmented operations. For example, the Nike, the way they go about it, that's an example of augmented operations. And there's plenty more. You see, it's so new. Use cases are just coming up. And as we together experiment, some will fail and some will succeed. The ones that will succeed are the ones that will go into the records. So that's the way that Metaverse, to me, it looks like, is changing the way we all think, live, and operate. So what we are looking at is not being the technology specialists. We are looking at people who can bridge the gap between the audience needs and what the technology can deliver by creating fantastic experiences. And that's, I think, the role that each of us here are very well capable of playing. Technology can be enabling us, but creativity and ideas have to come from us. And it will come as we experiment, as we experience this domain more and more. I promised you a sneak peek of our metaverse, which is in beta stage. So a short glimpse of what it holds is over here.
Welcome to the Kiln Business Park. Here, you can learn about our metaverse experiences for commercial organizations. If you are a corporate leader wanting to learn how the metaverse can support your business goals, you have come to the right place. Our business park has 3 zones. The first is the brand center. Here you learn how you can showcase your corporate brand and your future metaverse home. The second zone is the social center. Think of it like a really cool zone within your business metaverse. Here, you can invite customers and visitors and engage with them in a relaxed ambience. The third zone is our experience center. This is the heart of your metaverse inspiration. Here, you can actually see for yourself how Kiln is helping companies like yours to pivot their business. Now, you can transform your sales and customer experience. You can enable team collaboration and learning, and you can augment your business operations. The Kiln Experience Center shows you how it can be done. Let our global expertise power your business experiences.
That brings me to the very last slide of my presentation. The metaverse, as we have seen, has got significant potential. It can actually transform the way we live, work, play, earn, and learn. In order to do that, businesses are already jumping in because they realize there is value in here. And the metaverse as an industry, as an economy, is expected to register a CAGR, sustained year-on-year growth of about 60%. Take it with a pinch of salt. I would say 30 or 40%. How many industries do we have today which can register this kind of growth? I cannot think of any. And if that is the scene, do we not need to take it seriously? Do we not need to look deeper inside? Do we not need to understand what is it that it holds for us and our businesses? And the more we experiment, the more we learn, the better we become. Now, to my mind, is the metaverse for real? Is it going to be coming through? Is it the future? That's not a question anymore. Because we are progressing towards that. Devices are becoming cheaper, better accessibility. Wearables, you've already seen contacts coming up. 5G is coming up. What's stopping us? It's about our own mindsets, the ability to understand, learn, and reinvent ourselves. So, as I see it, the last time, so the web is really undergoing a transformation. The last time it transformed in this manner, was the time when a few companies decided to ride the wave. Which are those few companies? Google, Netflix, Amazon, and a few others. They went on from becoming DVD sellers and online bookstores to today names which are literally synonymous with the internet itself. Now the question in my mind is one single one. This transformation that we are seeing right now, which we are very poised towards, this is going to be bringing up the next generation of leaders across every industry and category. My question is simple. Are we ready to ride the wave? Are we ready to experiment? Are we ready to fail, learn, and succeed? And rewrite the way we look at our business models. Because if we do not, we will be forced into the metaverse, we will be forced to play catch up, and that's not a happy place to be in. Thank you.
What a wonderful presentation, Manas.
Very kind of you. Thank you.
Guess for my generation is still, we'll take time to understand this. The alpha generation is going to be like...
I completely disagree. Look at my gray hair.
Okay, first up, your journey from Mercedes to Metaverse. How did that happen? Because I think you used to pitch for stories in newspapers, and probably now you're talking about Meta.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for the question. And there's no easy way to describe it. I could only say that it was a severe case of midlife crisis. So I left Mercedes after 10 years. I was abroad for a while. And one day I just felt like there's not enough adventure in my life. And I said, okay, we need to do something to change that. So I quit my job, came back to India, and me and my wife, we picked up a motorcycle and we started traveling. When we finished the travel, we realized we've crossed 18 countries alone on our motorbike. We came back, but somehow that experience had transformed us. And I felt then, why not let the adventure continue? Then I took up my second master's in philosophy. Then I said, now let's do something I've not done before, which is a PhD in Metaverse and didactics. In the meantime, I also got smitten by the entrepreneur bug, which is where Brand Kiln, and that's how the story of Brand Kiln and how it shaped up.
Very interesting. So I am representing the comms community here. So the questions are very simple. I'm lost what Metaverse is. I'm still trying to figure. So if we have to implement Metaverse in our industry, or I won't say industry, the kind of work we do, how do you think we'll approach this? What is it that we should be looking at? What is the future for us in this?
Yeah, I think a part of the question I had tried to answer, but I would think the first step is jump in, read, talk to folks, try to understand what's happening. Anybody who wants to connect, I'm most happy to do so. I have, in fact, even got our metaverse. I can take you in there and show you what we can do. Not just we as Brand Kiln, but we as communicators can do to take forward our business into the next era. That's step one. Step two should be to constantly question the way we do things right now. As we move towards being able to connect with the end consumer, how can we create experiences that communicate the essence of what our brand and our product stand for? Once you have that figured out, technology can be brought in to plug and play and deliver those experiences. That's the way I would look at it.
With technology, I have one question in mind. We had seen the dot-com boom to bust. We have also seen blockchain coming up. Do you see the technology will be adopted well in the country? There's a lot of hype around it right now, but do you really see it sustaining? Because I don't know where it's going to lead. It's quite interesting right now to see these things. They are immersive, but do they really give that human touch which we typically expect?
So there are two parts to your question. Is India ripe for digital transformation? Step one. Step two is technology ready to give us the immersive experiences? The answer to your question number two is we are not there yet completely. We still have bandwidth challenges. We still have devices which are constantly getting optimized, but we've not yet reached there. Does it mean we hold back? Absolutely no. Because then we become the Me Too, not Me Too in that sense, but Me Too products, Me Too brands, who will be following others, and we lose that competitive advantage. Is India right for it? Let me just share with you a data that Ipsos published earlier this year. In June this year, Ipsos published a study wherein they interviewed people across 29 countries, trying to understand what would they want in the metaverse. So essentially boiled down to 5 areas: work, learn, communicate, socialize, earn, and play. And you'll be amazed, and I was amazed too, because I thought metaverse is still a very urban phenomenon. What I realized from that study, what came out is, in every one of these 5 areas, India was ranked among the top 3 countries globally among all those 29 countries. So if we think India is not ready for it, data seems to speak otherwise. That's how I would put it.
Got it. Related to the same question, I happened to come up to a study in McKinsey report, which spoke about women being great consumers for metaverse, but in the leadership role, you don't see them much in the future. Like we heard from Anita, women tend to, get back, not take leadership roles. So do you see, what's the future for this and for women?
I absolutely agree with you. I think we are not doing enough to bring in diversity in the leadership. Absolutely not enough. And especially in the technology sector, if you see, very few tech companies really have leaders who are women. And this bias moves forward into the metaverse, which is perhaps the next iteration of the internet. So yes, this is a real challenge, and I don't have an answer how it can be addressed.
Just run up. Any questions in the audience?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm Crystal, and I'm from Fleischmann-Hillard. And we recently conducted a study for a Web 3.0 study, which quizzed around 500 influencers from all genres about various aspects of Web 3, like whether it be the metaverse, cryptocurrency, basically the potential at large, right? And the findings were that there is still a lot of confusion amongst the influencer community themselves. They're still on the fence whether we want to be part of it, don't want to be part of it. So my question is, how do you see it? How could we make it more adaptable, more inclusive for the influencer community, the brands and individuals to, make that switch?
Thank you. I think you're very right, First of all, an understanding of what the metaverse can do for us in a corporate setting. That's something that needs to be communicated and understood better. There's not enough information out there. Clarity about what we can achieve with the metaverse. That's the first thing. And after that, I believe we as corporate leaders are also responsible, because look at us, we are all still hesitant about the metaverse. If we do not step up, if we do not step in, if we do not understand it deeper, how can we explain it better to our colleagues? Once we do that, I think that information gap would be bridged, because everybody wants to have a better life, A. Everybody needs to put food on the table, right? And if the metaverse can enable both of these to be met in a synergistic manner, I think there would be a natural adoption towards that. So once the information, once the knowledge is available more precisely, I believe it would go a long way in adoption of the metaverse, or even Web3.
Thank you. And while I still have the mic, I'll go in for my second question. Now, we've worked on a couple of projects, Web3 projects, whether it be the Dataverse or like the gaming space, and we've taken this opportunity to kind of pitch it to our other clients, you know, to kind of collaborate with these Web3 clients. But there's always often a pushback when it comes to, you know, putting your monies over there because they still don't see ROI. So could you give us an example of how did you kind of convert a client to, you know, put their eggs in that basket?
Awesome. So I think, again, I'm going out on a limb here and saying it. I think sometimes people have been selling snake oil in the name of metaverse. Why do I say that? I say so because not everything needs a blockchain, all right? Personal opinion, count me wrong, but if I'm not staking, if I'm not doing NFTs, do I need the blockchain? If I don't need the blockchain, can you imagine my costs of the entire project becomes nearly half? And I would think of it that way too. Imagine the use cases, understand which part needs to be on block and which needs to be off block. The moment you're able to work this mathematics, you will see the ROI and the value equation becoming so much stronger. That would be my personal feedback to you.
I'm the timekeeper too, so there's 5 minutes left. One question, you have a question? Sure.
Yep, can I ask?
Just
Hi,
have
I'm
5
Madhu from Aditya Birla Group. So we've been exploring on getting into Metaverse with so many companies within the group. One factor is the cost. It's exorbitant right now. How do you see that, you know, coming down in the coming years? We've looked at a technology called 3D printing, which did not take off, to be very honest. How do you see that coming down? And even the project timelines are really, you know, 2 months, 3 months for a simple video. When we approach a vendor, and that's where the leadership, you know, kind of shelves the project. So one is cost. When do you see that coming down? I'm sure more players would come in and all that, but do you see that coming through in the next 2 or 3 years? Yeah, thank you.
See, there's one thing that we have tried which seems to work well. One of the reasons for the exorbitant costs in development of scenarios, environments, is because every time you create a scenario or an environment, you start from grounds up. Now, what we are experimenting with is building blocks. If I have a platform in which I have prefabricated units or building blocks, let's put it that way, for different usages and different purposes, I could literally reuse the same building block, plug and play, brand it differently, give it a different texture, and yet it saves me A, on the development time and cost, both, you know, and B, experiences still can be very fresh, because you can imagine it's like you're changing the paint, the coating, the flooring, the way the entire ambience is created. So you can, I think, achieve some synergies of cost and time both, and help take it to market in a more efficient manner. I mean, this is where I feel hyper-reality really helps, because it you know, businesses, they need more serious, lifelike experiences rather than just cartoonish, you know, experiences. So these kind of things have seemed to be working with us, but I wouldn't say it with certainty because we are also just very early players. We just about stepped in. So this will be perhaps validated over time.
There's one last audience question here.
Hi. So you were right when you said earlier that people are going to be hesitant about adapting to this. I want to understand from you, do you think people will become more lazy when we gradually move to the world of metaverse? Because I cannot imagine myself buying a car without test driving it. So what do you think about that?
It's a very difficult question to answer. On one hand, we all want our lives to be easy. The metaverse is coming up because the Gen Z is reaching critical mass. The Gen Z is different from the way we are, the way we think, the way we act. They like to live in gaming spaces. They even socialize within gaming spaces, right? So digital experiences are as real for them as physical experiences are for us, right? At the same time, metaverse itself is evolving. If you see, you've today already got haptic suits, right? So test drive experiences can also be had almost in a real life situation as you're wearing a haptic suit, for example. It will not be the same as a real test drive, for sure. But I guess, with time, convergence, things will get better. But I do agree with you. It throws up many, many ethical questions regarding how are we using the metaverse. Is it taking humanity towards an elevated level or is it the reverse? Subhash Ghai, who's already working on his own metaverse, called it the Mayaverse. And I feel in some manner he is not wrong. So it's an experiment, it's a work in progress. We will make mistakes and I'm hoping that we all will learn from it. That's all I would probably say today.
Just have 1 minute left. One last question. What's your take on the regulators? Are they waiting there for you?
Wow, that was the googly saved for the last, I guess. Well, there's no easy way to put it. Technology is moving much faster than regulations can keep up today. That's for sure. So as people who are entering a space which is literally without boundaries, without any limitations posed by regulators or external bodies, I think where we need to rely on is I would only call it as our inner moral compass. Not everybody does that because there's sometimes quick money to be gained. But if we do that, we can build something that's sustainable. We can create a value proposition for our organizations that will be in the much longer run useful. And we will be probably leaders in the industry. We were talking about 3 or 4 of those companies who decided to ride the wave right early. We could be in that league. Now, I would think that is a far better vision or a deal than making some fast buck and then getting caught out. That's how I look at it.
I won't keep you all waiting. Thank you very much. We are done for now. We'll connect separately.
Thank you. Thank you.